The planet Varan 4 was quiet, almost too quiet. Its sky glowed with soft purple light, and its forests shimmered like liquid glass. Humans had lived there for 20 years, building colonies and energy plants that powered hundreds of ships across the system. But there was one rule, a rule that everyone knew but no one dared to break. Never go near the crystal forest at the north edge of the colony. That was where she lived, the alien sister. They said she could speak to your mind, that she could make a man lose himself just by looking into her eyes. They said no human who went near her ever came back the same. Ethan Cole, a young engineer from Earth, didn't believe in such stories. He was logical, smart, and tired of the strange myths that filled every alien world. He had come to Varan 4 to fix the failing energy core that powered the colony, not to listen to ghost tales. The first time he heard about the alien sister, he laughed. Just another bedtime story, he told his team. People always make up monsters when they're scared. But the old colonist beside him, Captain Mira, didn't laugh. She looked at him with tired eyes. "Boy," she said, "you think this planet is just dirt and rock? It's alive. And she's the one who keeps it sleeping. Don't wake her up." Ethan smiled politely, but inside, he thought she was crazy. That night he worked late near the crystal forest, where the energy conduits ran deep under the glowing trees. The trees were beautiful, tall, thin, and shining like glass, each one humming softly. When the wind blew, they rang like bells. He leaned down, checking a damaged circuit, when he heard something. A voice, soft whispering, "Ethan." He froze, the air grew cold. The lights on his wrist monitor flickered. He looked around. Nothing but trees and mist. "Probably radio interference," he muttered, returning to work. But the voice came again, closer this time. "Ethan, why did you come here?" His heart began to race. He looked toward the glowing forest. A shadow moved between the trees. Against his better judgment, Ethan stood up and followed. The forest was silent except for the faint ringing of the crystal trees. His boots crunched on strange white sand as he walked deeper. The light grew dim, like the world was holding its breath. "Hello?" he called. "Who's there?" No answer. Only the soft hum of energy all around him. He was about to turn back when he saw it. A faint blue glow between the trees. Someone or something was standing there, a woman. Tall and graceful. Her skin silver blue, her eyes glowing like stars. Her hair floated as if underwater. She wore a long robe made of light that shifted with every breath. Ethan froze, unable to speak. The woman tilted her head, studying him. "You shouldn't be here, human," she said softly. Her voice was calm but carried power, like the sound of thunder trapped in a whisper. I didn't mean to intrude," Ethan said. "I heard a voice." Her eyes brightened. "My voice." He swallowed hard. "Are you the sister of Varan?" She smiled, a sad, distant smile. "They call me that, but they do not understand what I am." For a moment, they just looked at each other. Ethan could feel his mind spinning. She was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. There was something ancient in her eyes, something that saw through him completely. He took a small step closer. "Why do they tell everyone to stay away from you?" She turned her gaze toward the trees. "Because they fear what they cannot control." Before he could ask more, the ground beneath them trembled. The crystal trees pulsed with light, and a deep hum filled the air. Lyra. The name appeared in his mind as if she had placed it there herself. Closed her eyes, pain flashing across her face. Ethan rushed forward instinctively. "Are you okay?" She raised a hand. "Go back, Ethan. Leave before they find you." "Who?" "The ones who keep me here." Ethan looked around, confused. "You're saying you're trapped?" Her eyes opened again, glowing brighter now. "You shouldn't care. Humans were told to stay away. You don't belong here. But if you're being held against your will, that's not right," he said. "I can help." Lyra's expression softened. "Help? No human has ever said that to me." For a second, the forest went quiet again. The wind stopped. The air itself seemed to wait. Then a sharp mechanical noise broke the silence. The sound of colony drones scanning the area. Red lights cut through the trees, sweeping closer. Lyra's face turned pale. "They're coming. Go." Ethan looked back toward the colony lights in the distance, then at her. He didn't move. "I can't just leave you here." "You don't understand," she said, her voice trembling now. "If they find you with me, they'll kill you." The drone's hum grew louder. The trees flashed red, reacting to the machines. Ethan whispered, "Why?" What are they so afraid of? She stared into his eyes, and for a heartbeat he saw it. Visions of light, stars, and destruction, whole worlds burning. Lyra stepped back into the shadows. Because they know what I am, she said quietly. And soon, you will too. The forest exploded with light. Ethan fell to the ground as the energy surged through the air. The last thing he saw was her glowing face vanishing into the mist. When he woke, he was lying outside the forest, his tools scattered. The sky was dark and the colony alarms were blaring in the distance. His wrist monitor flickered, strange alien symbols running across the screen. He didn't understand them, but one message stood out, burned in bright blue letters. You shouldn't have come here, Ethan. The morning sun rose over Varan 4, painting the colony towers in gold. But for Ethan, there was no peace in that light. He hadn't slept since the night before and since the moment he met her. The strange alien woman. The one they called the sister of Varan. The one who knew his name before he said a word. He sat by the window of his quarters, watching the crystal forest in the distance. It shimmered like a living sea. Every time he blinked, he could almost hear her voice again, soft, cold, and haunting. You shouldn't have come here, Ethan. He tried to focus on his work. The colony's power grid was still unstable. Command wanted him to repair the energy conduits within 2 days or they'd pull him from the mission. But something was wrong. The readings on his tablet made no sense. Energy was flowing backward, like the planet was feeding on their systems. He frowned. This can't be right. Captain Mira, his supervisor, looked at the data and sighed. The forest does this sometimes. Just stabilize the lines and don't ask questions. Ethan hesitated. What if it's not just a system glitch? Mira's eyes narrowed. Don't start that again. Stay away from the forest, Cole. You don't want to end up like the others. Others? She didn't answer, only turned and walked away. That night, Ethan found himself standing at the edge of the forest again. He told himself it was just curiosity. He told himself he needed to inspect the energy lines near the trees. But deep inside, he knew it wasn't about work. He had to see her again. The crystal trees glowed faintly under the twin moons. Their light reflected in his eyes as he stepped deeper inside. Each step felt like walking through a dream, and then he heard it, that same soft whisper. Ethan. He froze. Lyra? The name slipped out naturally, like his mind remembered it from somewhere deeper than memory. Yes, came the voice, calm and close. You remember? From behind the trees she appeared, graceful, her silver skin glowing softly in the dark. The light of the forest seemed to bend toward her as if she was its heart. You came back, she said quietly. I had to, Ethan replied. I need to understand who you are. Lyra smiled faintly, though sadness lived in her eyes. You humans never learn. You always want to know what should remain hidden. Ethan took a careful step closer. Then tell me, why do they fear you? She looked at the sky, her voice low. Because fear gives them control. They say I'm cursed, dangerous, but the truth is, she paused, her gaze returning to him. I feel what the planet feels. It's pain, it's anger, it's hunger. Ethan frowned. Hunger? The humans built their machines into Varan's body, she said softly. They cut into the energy veins that keep this world alive. Every time your colony draws power, the planet bleeds, mine, and I feel it. Ethan's stomach twisted. Then why not stop them? Her eyes glowed brighter. Because I am bound here. My brother, the High Counselor, sealed my power long ago. He said it was for peace, but it was to keep me silent. Why? She stepped closer, her voice barely above a whisper. Because I know a secret. About your people, Ethan. Before he could ask, the ground trembled. The forest lights flickered violently. Lyra winced, holding her head as if in pain. They're draining the core again. I can feel it. Ethan rushed to her side. What can I do? She looked up, her eyes meeting his. Nothing, unless... She hesitated. Unless you're willing to listen to the truth. Ethan nodded. I'm listening. Lyra raised her hand and placed it gently against his chest. Her touch was warm, electric. In an instant, images flashed through his mind. Cities burning, ships falling through the stars, humans landing on a world that rejected them. He saw the first colonists shaking hands with tall silver beings, the Va'ari, Lyra's kind. But behind those smiles was fear. A lie, Lyra's voice echoed in his head. They promised peace, But your leaders took more than they were given. They broke the balance. The images faded. Ethan stumbled back, gasping. What was that? The truth, Lyra said. Your people were warned. They were told to stay away, but they didn't listen. Ethan's hands shook. Then why help me? I'm human too, her eyes softened. Because you are different. You hear the planet. I can feel it in you. That is why I called your name. He blinked in confusion. Called me? You mean, yes, she said. It was not an accident that you came to me. You are connected to Varen's energy just as I am. Suddenly, a loud siren cut through the forest. Colony alert signal. Red light flashed through the trees. Energy surge detected in Sector 7. The robotic voice echoed. All engineers report to base immediately. Ethan's communicator buzzed, but he ignored it. He looked at Lyra. What's happening? She closed her eyes. The planet is responding. Every time we meet, the bond between us grows stronger, and Varen feels it. But why me? He whispered. She smiled faintly. Because you are not just human anymore. Before he could speak, the forest exploded in light. A surge of raw energy burst from the ground, knocking him backward. Sparks of blue fire danced across his skin. He looked at his hands, glowing faintly with the same light as Lyra's. Ethan, she said urgently, they will come for you now. The council will not let this happen again. Then come with me, he said. We'll go to the colony together. We can explain, she shook her head. They will never listen. To them I am a danger. And now so are you. The ground cracked beneath them. Energy veins glowed bright white, running through the soil like lightning. Ethan reached out, grabbing her hand. I'm not leaving you here. Their fingers touched him, and in that instant the entire forest lit up. The crystal trees sang, a deep and sorrowful sound that echoed across the sky. The colony lights flickered. Alarms blared in every sector. Lyra's voice trembled. You've changed everything, Ethan. You've awakened the heart of Varen. He stared at her in shock as the wind howled around them. What does that mean? Her glowing eyes met his. It means the planet will never sleep again. The colony was in chaos. Red lights flashed across every building. Alarms screamed through the night, and soldiers ran toward the forest with scanners and weapons. Inside the control tower, Commander Rice shouted, Sector 7's energy core has overloaded. We're losing containment. Technicians worked desperately, trying to stabilize the readings, but the numbers kept spiking higher. One of them looked up with a pale face. Sir, the surge came from inside the crystal forest. Rice clenched his jaw. That's impossible. No one goes there. He paused, then frowned. Where's Ethan Cole? Far from the tower, Ethan sat in the mud, gasping for air. His hand still glowed faintly from the energy blast. The light was fading, but he could still feel something. A strange pulse deep inside his body, beating with the rhythm of the planet itself. Lyra stood near him, her silver hair moving in the wind, her face filled with worry. The connection is growing, she whispered. I didn't mean for this to happen. Ethan tried to stand. What did you do to me? I didn't do anything, she said softly. It was Varen. The planet chose you. It recognized your energy. He shook his head. That doesn't make sense. I'm just a human engineer. Her eyes glowed brighter. Not anymore. At that moment, drones appeared above the trees, scanning the area with red beams. Lyra turned quickly, her voice sharp. They're coming. We must hide. Ethan hesitated. If they see you, they'll kill you. She nodded. Yes, and if they see you with me, they'll kill you too. She grabbed his hand and the two ran through the glowing forest. The crystal trees shimmered around them, reflecting flashes of light as the drones searched overhead. They reached a narrow cave at the base of a hill, half covered in vines that shone with faint blue light. Lyra led him inside. The air was cold and filled with a deep hum, like a heartbeat echoing through stone. Inside the cave, strange carvings glowed on the walls, ancient symbols of both human and alien shapes standing together. Ethan touched one of the carvings. These look like humans. And your kind. Yes, Lyra said. Long ago, before the war, before the betrayal, humans and Va'ari stood as allies. Ethan turned to her. But humans only arrived here 20 years ago. Lyra's voice trembled slightly. That's what you were told. He stared at her. What do you mean? She closed her eyes. Humans came here long before your history remembers. They came as explorers, not conquerors. But your leaders erased that truth when they came back. They didn't want peace. They wanted control of Varen's power. Ethan felt his chest tighten. You're saying our whole history here is a lie? She nodded slowly. Yes, and your commanders, they still hide it. That's why they fear me. I remember the truth. Back in the colony, Commander Rice slammed his fist on the table. I want Ethan Cole found now. Bring him in for questioning. Captain Mira stepped forward, her face tense. He's a good man, sir. If he's gone near the forest, it's because he found something worth seeing. Rice glared at her. You've been here too long, Captain. Don't let the forest fill your head with myths. He turned toward the soldiers. Deploy a full squad. If the alien is with him, eliminate her. Inside the cave, Ethan paced nervously. They're going to come for me. Yes, Lyra said quietly. And they'll stop at nothing. He looked at her. Why me, Lyra? Why did you call my name? She touched her chest, then his. Because the same energy flows in both of us. You are connected to Varen's heart, just like me. Ethan blinked. That's impossible. No, she said softly. It means something, maybe. You were meant to awaken what they tried to silence. He shook his head, trying to think logically. Even if that's true, how do I prove it? How do I show them you're not a threat? You can't, she said simply. Because to them, truth is the threat. Suddenly, the walls of the cave began to shake. A deep roar echoed from outside. Lyra's face went pale. They've brought weapons. Ethan rushed to the entrance and saw bright flashes, plasma fire cutting through the trees. The forest screamed in response, its crystal trunks vibrating with a painful hum. They're destroying the trees, Ethan shouted. They think the forest protects me, Lyra said. But the forest is me. He turned to her, stunned. You mean, yes, I am bound to this planet's energy. Every wound they make, I feel. Ethan grabbed her shoulders. Then we have to stop them. She looked into his eyes, her voice trembling. If we fight them, they'll kill you. I won't allow that. You don't have a choice, he said. Neither of us does. The ground cracked and bright light burst from beneath their feet. The air filled with glowing dust. Lyra fell to her knees, clutching her head in pain. Ethan knelt beside her. What's happening? She gasped. The energy flow. It's breaking apart. The core is unstable, Ethan thought quickly. I can fix it. If I reach the main reactor, I can reroute the flow. Lyra's eyes widened. If you do that, you'll have to connect directly to Varen's heart. Your body won't survive it. I don't care, he said. If I don't, everyone will die. Lyra's expression changed, half fear, half admiration. You really are different. Outside, the soldiers were closing in. Their scanners beeped faster as they neared the cave. Ethan looked at her. Come with me, she shook her head. I can't leave the forest. My energy is tied here. Then I'll come back, he said. I promise, she smiled faintly. Promises mean little to time, human. He reached out and held her hand. Then I'll make time listen. For a moment, their hands glowed together, blue and white light mixing in the air. The hum of the planet grew louder, as if answering them. Lyra looked into his eyes and whispered, They lied to you. Ethan, the humans were never meant to stay here. Before he could reply, the entrance exploded. Soldiers stormed in, weapons raised. Lyra screamed, light bursting from her body, blinding them all. Ethan shouted her name, reaching for her, but everything turned to white. When he opened his eyes, he was on the ground outside the forest again. Smoke rose from the trees. His comm device buzzed with static. A cold, robotic voice spoke. Ethan Cole, you are under arrest for sabotage and unauthorized contact with an alien entity. He looked back at the burning forest, but Lyra was gone. Ethan Cole sat alone in a dark cell. The metal walls around him pulsed with dull red light. His hands were tied behind his back, still marked with faint blue veins of glowing energy. Outside, he could hear the distant hum of engines and the low voices of soldiers. He had been locked up for 3 days. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her face. Lyra, the alien sister, the one they said was dangerous, but who had saved him. He whispered her name softly as if she could somehow hear him through the walls. Lyra, where are you? The cell door hissed open. Commander Rice entered with 2 guards. He stood tall, his armor shining under the dim light. Ethan Cole, he said coldly. You are charged with sabotage, interference with restricted zones, and contact with a classified entity. Ethan lifted his head. You mean Lyra? The woman you've been keeping locked away. Rice's jaw tightened. That creature is not a woman. She is a threat to every human on this planet. She's not a threat, Ethan said firmly. She's trying to help. The energy surges. They're happening because your machines are hurting the planet. Rice leaned closer. You think this planet feels pain? It's rock and metal. Nothing more. Ethan stared back at him. Then why does it bleed light when you drill into it? Rice said nothing for a moment. Then he turned to the guards. Take him to the research wing. Let's see what our scientist can pull from his new condition. Hours later, Ethan was strapped to a table surrounded by humming machines. Scientists moved around him, scanning his body. The blue energy marks on his skin glowed brighter each time they ran a test. A woman in a lab coat studied a screen. Sir, she said to Rice, his cells are changing. They're merging with the same energy signatures as the Va'ari. It's like he's becoming one of them. Ethan's voice shook. What are you doing to me? Rice watched coldly. You made contact with her. Now her energy runs in your blood. We'll use it to unlock the planet's full power. Ethan's heart pounded. You're making a mistake. You'll destroy everything. Rice smirked. Maybe, but we'll control the galaxy before that happens. That night, when the guards left, Ethan managed to free one hand. He grabbed a tool from a nearby tray and broke the restraints. He slipped out through the maintenance vent and crawled through narrow metal tunnels until he reached a data room. He knew what he had to find. The truth. The computers glowed softly in the dark. He hacked into the secure archives, scrolling through old mission logs. Then he saw it. A video file labeled Project Varen, year 2094. He opened it. A holographic image appeared. Old, flickering, but clear enough to see. A group of humans stood beside tall silver aliens, Va'ari. They smiled, shaking hands. A voice spoke from the recording. The Va'ari have granted us access to their sacred world, Varen 4, for study. We promise not to disturb the living core beneath its surface. Then the next clip appeared, chaos, explosions, fires. Another voice shouted, they lied. The humans are drilling into the core. The balance is breaking. The screen went dark. A final message appeared. Do not return to Varen 4, the Guardian has awakened. Ethan stepped back, his eyes wide. The Guardian, he whispered. Lyra. Suddenly the door behind him slid open. Captain Mira stood there, her face tense. How did you find this place? Ethan asked. I followed you, she said quietly. I had to see if the stories were true. They are, he said, showing her the screen. We were never supposed to settle here. The humans broke their promise. Mira looked at the footage, her expression filled with guilt. I knew something was wrong, she said softly. The energy storms. The sickness in the air. This planet is fighting us, Ethan nodded. And Lyra, she's part of it. She's keeping it alive. An alarm suddenly blared across the base. Red lights flashed everywhere, a voice echoed, warning. Massive energy surge detected near the core chamber. All personnel evacuate immediately. Mira looked at Ethan. It's happening again, he said. No, it's worse. The planet's reacting to what they're doing. They ran down the corridor, avoiding soldiers who were shouting orders. Smoke poured from the walls as the floor trembled beneath their feet. They reached an observation window overlooking the energy reactor. A giant sphere glowing bright white. Inside, cracks of blue light spread like veins. The hum of the core turned into a scream. Ethan gripped the railing. They're trying to control the core with human tech. It can't be contained. Mira turned to him. Then what do we do? He looked at his glowing hands. I have to reach her. Lyra's the only one who can stop this. Before they could move, soldiers appeared, blocking the hall. Rice stood behind them. Going somewhere, Mr. Cole? He said coldly. Ethan stepped forward. You can't stop this with weapons. You're killing the planet. Rice raised his gun. You don't understand, Cole. If we lose the core, we lose everything. Billions of lives depend on this energy. Then find another way, Ethan shouted. Lyra can help us. Rice sneered. That alien witch? She's the reason this world is falling apart. He fired. The shot hit the wall beside Ethan. Sparks flew. Before Rice could fire again, the ground cracked open between them. A surge of blue energy burst through the floor, throwing everyone backward. Through the rising light, Ethan heard a familiar voice, soft and powerful. Ethan, come to me. He turned toward the window. Far in the distance, beyond the towers and smoke, the crystal forest was glowing brighter than ever, pulsing like a living heart. Mira grabbed his arm. "What are you waiting for? Go!" Ethan nodded, eyes filled with fire. He ran toward the launch bay, the alarm still screaming behind him. As the ship lifted off, he looked down at the burning colony below. "Hold on, Lyra," he whispered. "I'm coming." Above him, the sky split with light. The planet itself seemed to breathe, and for the first time, Ethan felt it clearly. A voice deep inside his mind, calm but filled with power. "The truth is awake. The colony was burning." Smoke rose into the purple sky of Varan 4, and blue lightning danced across the clouds like veins of a living storm. Ethan Cole held the controls of a small shuttle, flying fast above the chaos. Every alarm in the ship was screaming. Below him, towers exploded one by one as the planet's core began to rage. He didn't look back. He only whispered, "Hold on, Lyra. I'm coming." In the command tower, Commander Rice watched Ethan's shuttle racing toward the crystal forest. "Lock onto his signal," Rice ordered. "If he reaches that alien again, the entire core could collapse." A soldier hesitated. "Sir, the energy readings are unstable. Our weapons may not function properly." "Then use whatever still works," Rice shouted. "Stop him before it's too late." Down in the forest, Lyra stood among the glowing trees, her silver skin dim and her eyes fading like dying stars. She could feel the pain of the planet through every breath. The drilling, the weapons, the fear. The wind carried her voice, whispering through the crystals. "Ethan, hurry!" When she closed her eyes, she saw his memories, his courage, his hope. A human heart stubborn and kind. She smiled faintly. So much light in such a fragile form. Ethan's shuttle broke through the cloud layer, and the forest appeared below him, glowing like a living ocean. He landed roughly between two tall crystal spires and jumped out. The ground shook beneath his boots. "Lyra," he shouted. Her voice came softly through the wind. "Here." She stepped from the mist, her figure shimmering. But she was weaker now, her body flickering like fading light. Ethan ran to her. "You're hurt." "I'm connected to the core," she whispered. "When they attack the planet, I feel it." He looked around. "I have to get you out of here." "The soldiers are coming." Lyra shook her head slowly. "If I leave, the planet will die. My bond keeps it alive. Then I'll stay," Ethan said firmly. "We'll find another way." High above them, gunships appeared through the clouds, their engines roaring. The forest lit up red as the ships scanned the area. Drones descended, firing warning shots that shattered the crystal trees. Lyra flinched in pain as if the explosions hit her directly. Ethan shouted, "Stop! You're hurting her!" A voice echoed from a loudspeaker, Commander Rice. "Ethan Cole, step away from the alien or we'll open fire." Ethan looked up. "You don't understand. She's part of the planet." "You'll destroy everything," Reese's cold voice replied. "Better that than let her control us." The ships opened fire. Ethan grabbed Lyra's hand and pulled her deeper into the forest. The ground trembled beneath them as energy blasts tore apart the trees. Shards of glowing crystal rained down like glass. They ran until they reached a canyon filled with bright mist. The only sound was the deep hum of the planet's pulse. Lyra stopped suddenly, gasping. Her skin flickered with light. "They're close," she said. "I can feel their fear." Ethan looked back at the distant drones. "Then let's use it," she frowned. "What do you mean?" He pointed to the glowing cracks in the canyon walls. "This place and it's alive, right?" She nodded weakly. "Then help me make it fight back." Lyra hesitated. "The planet doesn't attack. It defends. Then let's make it defend us." She closed her eyes and placed both hands on the ground. Blue energy rippled through the canyon floor, spreading like fire. The crystals around them began to hum louder and brighter. The first drone entered the canyon and instantly froze in the air. Its lights flickered. Then its metal shell cracked open like an egg, glowing blue from inside. One by one, the other drones followed, and one by one, they fell from the sky. Ethan stared in awe. "You're controlling them?" "No," Lyra said softly. "The planet is." But each pulse of energy drained her more. She trembled, her light dimming. "Stop," Ethan said. "You're killing yourself." She smiled weakly. "This is what I was made for." Suddenly the canyon exploded with blinding light as a missile struck nearby. Ethan was thrown to the ground. His vision blurred. When he looked up, Lyra was lying beside him motionless. "No," he whispered, crawling toward her. "Don't do this." Her eyes opened slightly. "Ethan, it's too late," he shook his head. No, it's not. I can fix this. She reached up, her hand trembling, and touched his face. You already have, she whispered. You gave me hope. Before he could speak, another voice came from behind, harsh, metallic. Step away from her. Ethan turned to see Commander Rice, holding a plasma pistol. His armor was cracked and his face covered in dust. You did this, Rice said. You've doomed us all. No, Ethan replied. You doomed us the day you came here. Rice raised his weapon. You think that alien cares about you? She's using you. Ethan stood between Rice and Lyra. Then she's not the only one being used. For a moment, they stared at each other. Two men standing on a dying world. Rice's finger tightened on the trigger, but before he could fire, the ground split open. A beam of blue light shot into the sky. Swallowing them in brilliance, Ethan shielded his eyes. The canyon floor was gone, replaced by a deep glowing chamber, a spiral of crystal descending into the planet. Lyra's voice echoed faintly. The heart of Varen. Rice stumbled backward, terrified. What is this? Ethan looked down into the spiral. The core. Without hesitation, he picked up Lyra in his arms. Rice shouted, You'll die down there. Ethan looked back. Then I'll die doing what's right. He jumped into the light. As they descended, everything went silent. The deeper they fell, the calmer it became. No war, no noise, only the sound of the planet's slow, living heartbeat. Lyra opened her eyes weakly. You shouldn't have come. Ethan smiled faintly. You said that before. She smiled back, tears of light falling down her cheeks. And you still didn't listen. He looked ahead, where the core glowed like a giant crystal heart, and then he whispered, Let's finish this. The air inside the planet's heart was alive. Blue light swirled around Ethan Cole as he carried Lyra down the glowing spiral. Each step echoed like a drumbeat, each breath filled with the sound of a living world. The deeper they went, the brighter it became. Crystals lined the walls, humming softly, not random sounds, but words. A language older than memory, Lyra whispered weakly. The planet is speaking to you. Ethan looked at her, his voice trembling. To me, she nodded. It knows you now. You touched its energy. You are part of its song. He stared at the glowing path ahead. Then maybe it can tell me how to fix this. Above them, the world was falling apart. The colony's towers were cracking, the sky turning red. Commander Rice ordered evacuations while Captain Mira tried to save as many as she could. But even from space, ships reported the same message: massive energy collapse at the planet's core. If the heart of Varen failed, everything would be swallowed by light. Deep underground, Ethan and Lyra reached a vast open chamber. At its center floated a giant sphere of light, the planet's core glowing like a living sun. Lyra took a step forward, her voice barely a whisper. This is the soul of Varen. The light pulsed slowly, and for a moment Ethan could feel it breathing. It wasn't a machine. It was alive and scared. Lyra fell to her knees, pain spreading across her face. It's dying. The humans took too much from it. Ethan knelt beside her. Tell me what to do. She looked at him, tears of light rolling down her cheeks. Only the one who carries both energies, human and Va'ari, can restore the balance. He frowned. What do you mean? She touched his chest. You. Ethan shook his head. No, I'm just an engineer. I don't even understand this power. Lyra smiled faintly. You don't need to understand it. You only need to feel it. She reached for his hand and placed it against the glowing core. Instantly, energy rushed through him, waves of heat and cold, pain and peace. His mind exploded with visions. The first humans arriving on Varen centuries ago. The Va'ari greeting them with open arms. The betrayal that followed. Humans drilling into the planet's body to steal its power. And finally, the sealing of Lyra, the sister of Varen, as punishment for protecting her world. He gasped and pulled his hand back. We did this. Yes, Lyra said softly. But the planet doesn't hate you. It remembers your kindness too. It remembers the first promise. What promise? That one day humans would make it right. Ethan looked at his glowing hands. The same blue energy that once terrified him now pulsed with warmth. Maybe this was why the planet chose him. He stood tall, looking at the heart of Varen. How do I fix it? Lyra's voice was faint. You must reconnect the human energy to the Va'ari flow. If the two become one again, the planet will live. He nodded. What happens to me? Her eyes filled with sorrow. You'll become part of it. The planet will need a bridge, and you will be that bridge. Ethan's heart pounded. He thought of Earth, of home, of everything he was leaving behind. But then he looked at Lyra, fragile, glowing, yet strong, and then he knew his choice was already made. I'll do it. He stepped forward, placing both hands on the heart of Varen. The light swallowed him instantly. His body lifted from the ground, his veins glowing bright white. The chamber shook violently. Crystal shattered and waves of energy spread outward. Lyra shielded her face from the blinding light. "Ethan!" she shouted. "Can you hear me?" His voice echoed through the air, no longer just human. "Yes, I can hear everything." His eyes opened, glowing like stars. "I see it all. The world, the storms, the pain. It's alive and it's trying to heal," Lyra called out. "Then guide it. Show it peace." Above the surface, the ground split open. The forest's crystal trees exploded in a wave of light. But instead of destroying everything, the energy began to rebuild. The broken trees regrew instantly. The air cleared. The clouds turned bright white. In the colony, Mira watched in disbelief. "What's happening?" a technician shouted. "The energy surge reversed." "It's stabilizing and the planet's healing itself." Deep below, Ethan's body glowed brighter and brighter. He felt himself fading, but it didn't hurt anymore. He wasn't dying. He was becoming. Lyra reached toward him. "Ethan, come back." He smiled, his voice echoing through the chamber. "This is what I was meant to do. I can feel both sides now, human and Vari. I'm the bridge." Lyra's eyes filled with tears. "Then you are the human key." He nodded slowly. Tell them the world is alive, and it forgives them." The light grew stronger until the chamber was pure white. When the brightness faded, Lyra stood alone. The massive core was calm and pulsing gently, like a heartbeat in deep sleep. She looked around, whispering, "Ethan?" No answer, only silence. Then she felt it, a soft pulse beneath her feet, gentle as a sigh, and a voice inside her mind. "I'm still here." Her eyes widened. "Ethan?" "I am part of it now. The planet and me. We are one." She smiled through her tears. "Then Varen lives again, because of you." The world was ending. From the sky, lightning poured down like burning rivers. The ground cracked open and glowing blue veins spread across the land. The colony's towers melted into the soil as the planet's energy turned wild. And deep below, in the heart of Varen 4, two figures floated in a storm of light. Ethan Cole and Lyra, the last guardian of the Va'ari. Ethan felt weightless. The air was gone, replaced by waves of energy flowing through his body. The crystal walls around them pulsed like a living heart, each beat shaking his soul. Lyra's faint voice reached him through the light. "Ethan, you must let go." He tried to hold her hand tighter. "No, if I let go, you'll die." She smiled sadly. "If I die, the planet lives. That was always my duty." Ethan shook his head. "Then I'll share it. We can do this together." Her eyes glowed brighter, reflecting his determination. "Humans always think they can change fate." He smiled faintly. "Maybe that's why we survive." The core chamber was alive with movement, rivers of light twisting around them like giant serpents. In the center floated a huge glowing sphere, the heart of Varen beating like a drum of thunder. Ethan could feel it calling him, whispering inside his mind. "Join us." He felt pain shoot through his body as if 1,000 stars burned inside him. His veins turned bright blue. The same marks that once scared him now pulsed with life. Lyra watched in awe. "You're merging with it." "I can feel everything," Ethan said. "The forests, the oceans, the storms, even the fear of the people above. The planet is alive and it's screaming for peace." Lyra floated closer. "Then listen, guide it. You are part of it now." Meanwhile, above the surface, Commander Rice and Captain Mira struggled to survive the destruction. The sky was tearing apart, and massive crystals burst from the ground, sending shockwaves through the colony. Mira shouted over the noise, "We have to evacuate." Rice shook his head, staring at the light bursting from the forest. "He's down there, isn't he?" "That fool? He's saving us," Mira said. Rice clenched his fists, "Or killing us all." Back in the core, Ethan hovered in front of the planet's heart. The energy was overwhelming. It felt infinite, ancient, full of sorrow and memory. He saw visions flashing through the light. The first humans landing here long ago, breaking their promise to the Va'ari. The wars, the greed, the lies, and then he saw Lyra alone for centuries guarding the sleeping world while humanity forgot her name. He felt her pain like it was his own. Tears of light rolled down his face. "You were never the monster," he whispered. "We were." Lyra's voice trembled. "Then end it. Bring balance again." He reached out toward the glowing heart. The light answered instantly. A beam of blue energy shot into his chest, lifting him higher. His human form began to fade, replaced by something new, something radiant. Half human, half Va'ari. A bridge between two worlds. Lyra gasped softly. "You've become the key." The planet roared, the chamber shaking violently. Ethan's mind filled with voices. Billions of whispers. Every heartbeat on Varen 4 speaking at once. For a moment, he wanted to let go, the power was too much. But then he remembered Lyra's words. Humans always think they can change fate. He smiled through the pain. "Then I'll change this one." On the surface, Mira and Rice looked up as a massive pillar of light erupted from the crystal forest, shooting into the sky. The storm stopped instantly. The wind fell silent. Every machine in the colony powered down. And then silence. The entire planet glowed for a heartbeat, and then exhaled. The energy storms disappeared. The sky turned clear. The land began to heal, glowing softly with calm light. Mira fell to her knees, tears in her eyes. "He did it," Rice whispered. "Or maybe." It did. Deep below, the light faded. Ethan floated slowly back to the ground, his body no longer human, but not alien either. A being of pure energy wrapped in faint human form. Lyra looked at him in wonder. "You survived." He looked at his hands, and faintly glowing. "I think I became part of it." The core's light dimmed, calm and steady once more. The planet was safe. Lyra stepped closer. "The balance is restored. But what are you now?" He smiled softly. "Maybe something between." She reached up and touched his face. "You've done what no one else could." He took her hand gently. "No, we did." The chamber began to change. The crystals around them folded open like flower petals, revealing a tunnel of light leading upward. Lyra looked at it with awe. "The planet is releasing me. My duty is done." Ethan nodded slowly. "Then go, be free." She looked into his eyes. "And you?" He smiled sadly. "I'll stay. Someone has to protect this world now." Her eyes filled with light and sorrow. "You'll be alone?" He shook his head. "Not really. I'll have the voice of a whole planet to keep me company." She smiled, a soft, beautiful smile. "Then goodbye, Ethan Cole." The human key. As she walked into the light, her body dissolved into thousands of glowing fragments that rose toward the surface, merging with the wind and sky. Ethan watched her go, then closed his eyes. He could feel everything now, every root, every drop of rain, every heartbeat above. He whispered softly, "Humans were told to stay away from the alien sister." But maybe they were only meant to listen. The planet pulsed gently in answer, alive, calm, and whole again. High above, the first sunrise after the storm painted the sky in gold. The forest bloomed with new light, and the people of the colony looked out in silence, feeling peace for the first time. Far beneath them, in the heart of Varen 4, Ethan opened his glowing eyes, half human, half Va'ari, and smiled. "The world is awake."